What's going on YouTube? It's Bella and Jae back again with another video. Before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to hit that bell for post notifications. That way the next time we drop that fire content, you'll be the first to get it. Without further ado, what's the topic for today?
Co-parenting.
The topic for today is co-parenting. Please excuse our backdrop. We're in an undisclosed location right now, taking care of business as usual. But a topic that weighed heavy on my heart was co-parenting. I just wanted to put it out there for the world to see and for them to also comment and let us know how they feel about it. So, with co-parenting.
Today we were having a discussion about co-parenting. And when having a discussion with, family and friends, everybody don't always agree. So, Jay here thinks that, you don't have to be able to get along to co-parent. Okay, so what is it?
I don't feel like you have to have love for someone in order to respect them. You can respect someone without loving them.
Of course, because we respect people that we don't know sometimes, and we don't necessarily love them.
Exactly.
So yes, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you've been in a committed relationship with somebody and y'all had kids before, regardless if y'all was married or if y'all just had a situationship, or it was just a relationship outside of marriage, and y'all decided that y'all are no longer together. Well, Jay feel like you don't have to have love for that person to be able to co-parent, and yeah, that can be true and all, but I don't feel like there's anything wrong if you do still have love for that person. That don't mean that you want to get married to that person or get back with that person or you have sexual intent for that person. That just means that they're family. Like sometimes when you've been with a person for a long time and y'all have had y'all birthdays together, had kids together that was there for every pregnancy, y'all have had good, ups and downs. Everything wasn't always perfect. That doesn't mean that you have to hate that person. You can still get along with that person. Y'all can still be able to co-parent and go to kids' graduations together, birthday parties together, do different events together. Like, I've been in a relationship before, and me and that person, we always agreed that regardless if we was together or not, that we would still have a good relationship for our kids, we would still get along for our kids, that we would still, have certain events together for the kids, regardless if we was in another relationship, regardless if he married somebody else and I married somebody else, we would still want to get together for Thanksgivings for the kids, or Christmases, or birthday parties, just different things for the kids. Like, everybody don't always have to be separate. Like, some people don't want to separate their kids, where they have a birthday party over here and a birthday party over here, or they always arguing over the kids and fussing over the kids constantly, and kids constantly seeing this. If you and this person didn't work out and y'all got this relationship because y'all was always arguing or it was trauma over the kids, or even if this person cheated on you or whatever it is that they did, I feel like if you over and you done with that person, you should be big enough to push it to the side and be, grown for the kid or the kids and have a good relationship, because y'all already decided y'all no longer want to be together. So what's the problem?
So here's the thing about that. When you're moving on, and if you're a single person, it makes absolute sense, because I've been in that situation before, to where being a single person, you move differently than when you're in a relationship. So it's all about comfortability with your partner, as far as what your partner will be comfortable with. I stand firm, and I'm very spiritually rooted in putting God first and then loving selflessly. Meaning, it don't have nothing to do with what I want. It's what my partner wants. So ultimately, what does a solid foundation with co-parenting mean to anyone? Does it mean that you have to spend Thanksgiving? Does it mean that you have to spend birthdays? Does it mean that you have to share Christmases with your children and spend it together? Or can it be done successfully separately? Okay, so I've seen it done both ways. I've seen it succeed both ways, and I've seen it fail both ways. It's all on the parent when it comes to who the parent is and what they expect out of the other parent, and whether that other parent is willing to give that time, effort, energy, share that space with the other spouse, their spouse, and the kids all in the same token. Keep in mind, it's more than just one family that you're bringing together. If you have kids with someone else, but then you also have kids with this person that you're with now, or if that person had kids with someone else. So what the situation is being brought into place is, if that's the agreement, that means all of these different families are gonna come together. That means like the husband's family, the wife's family, that the baby daddy over here, the baby mama over here, and then their people and who they got, and then their people and who they got. So it's gonna technically be like 6 or 7 families if that's how we wanna raise our kids. Because ultimately, if what you do with one kid and you don't do the other kid, the resentment that you're taking away from this section goes to that section. So it's not like it's evenly balanced. So there's a lot of different issues that you could arise to, that you can account for when it comes to those type of decisions that you make. But ultimately, my mind and the way it works is, you don't necessarily have to come together on these events simply because it's something that you've done before or something that you've experienced before, so now you want to keep this going. That to me is considered, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you know how you go to a store and you they give you like these free coupons and stuff like that, right? There's these perks and bonuses to being a part of this membership or whatever the case may be. So for that spouse or that ex or that baby, whatever, that chose to not do the things that they were supposed to do when they were in your presence at that moment, and now they're no longer allowed to enjoy your presence anymore. This is just another way for them to enjoy your presence. It's not just all about the kids. Because if it was all about the kids, then you guys could co-parent successfully without bringing yourselves together.
Okay, so my intake on it is, at the end of the day, people, they like, okay, adults, we tend to put ourselves in what we're comfortable with and not comfortable with. We should have thought about that before we had kids. So, because right now, it's not about us and our comfort, it's about our kids, right? So even if, hypothetically, say, I was married, right? Me and my husband, we got divorced when we were together, and he's over here and I'm over here. Say I get in another relationship or he get another relationship, and we still decide, me and him, for our kids, still decide to come together, right? However, say he has kids with somebody else, or I have kids with somebody else. What does that have to do with us still being able to come together for our kids' birthdays or graduations or proms or Thanksgiving, Christmas, or whatever it is that we decide to do? Because even if he has kids with this other lady and I have kids with this other male, they're still going to be our kids' siblings. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So therefore, it's not like they're still not going to be the kids' family. You know what I'm saying? If we can all get together as adults, come together as adults, and be adults.
So he gonna be uncle such and such to your new kid?
No, because it's not about us.
Think about it.
No,
think
about it's about the kids, right?
Yes, it is.
So the kids, they're still going to be able to have their siblings at their party or graduate. That we're going to
the siblings will be there. So who are you going to introduce him as when your new child sees him? Does that make sense?
The new child still going to know that their siblings' daddy.
Okay.
Duh, right? I mean, like, makes sense?
Okay.
Like, that's just like his kids would know that his kids would
whoever
know.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, like, but what does it have to do with anything? We need to be able to come together in the world and have much love. It's about love. If we start taking ourselves out the equation when it comes to spreading love and being in love and being, here for our kids and raising our kids up properly and showing them what love looks like, and not being so selfish where sometimes it's hurting our kids that we can't even come together, that we arguing over them, we arguing in front of them, we arguing over the phone with our kids right here, we making our kids choose and pick. If it's Thanksgiving, right, and they got to choose to leave their other siblings that they might be really close with to go over somewhere else that they're not familiar with because they're used to having Thanksgiving or Christmas, whatever, with this family, or having birthdays. Sometimes kids don't want to have separate parties, one with mom, one with dad. Sometimes they might not have their friends in both areas. Sometimes they will like it better if the family can come together and they can just have one big party where they can be celebrated all together at one, because one party might be better than the next, and they might want those friends over there to see this party, but now they can't be. They had a party over here, these friends. I mean, like, we not thinking about it like that. Plus, it's more money. That money could be going towards a college fund or a brand new car for when our kids. It could be going towards so much more. But we don't take out the time to think about it like that because we're selfish. We're like, we don't want him over here to our party. We don't want him over. We don't get along. But why not? If y'all decided not to be together no more, regardless of who fault it is, if you put all that to the side and you be grown, drama-free, grown, come together as grown men and women for the kids, then who cares about who did what? It's in the past. Let the past be the past. You gonna go to hell worried about the past and what happened in the past and have resentment, or you gonna live your life and move on? That's the whole part of why you.
Yeah, you gonna have to worry about it because you in hell. You ever thought about that?
I don't want to worry about it. Whatever somebody did to me, I gave it to God, and God is gonna handle it, and I'm gonna move forward with it. I'm still gonna be blessed and prosperous and live life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have enough. When you wake up and you realize who you are as a woman or a man, there's certain things you know about. Like, if I'm in a relationship with somebody and say he has kids from a previous marriage or whatever it is, I want him and his baby mama. No, I don't even like that word. I want him and his child's mother to get along so that it can be peace for the child. If they get along with this peace for the child, then it's peace for me. Cause I don't like drama.
So here's the thing. Are we checking with these children to find out whether they want two separate parties or not? Because now it sounds like you're making the decision. You're making the decision before asking the child. That's not every child's wish. Some children are smarter than others. Some children see that it's a toxic environment when that parent goes with the other parent. So it's probably best that they don't share birthday parties together or Thanksgivings together or Christmases together.
But if that's the case, they wouldn't be doing it anyway. If it's toxic where they can't get along.
Listen to what I'm saying. If a child can see that a parent has had problems with this other child, okay?
Other parent.
With this other parent, then it's probably best for them to not come together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'll use my example. I'll use my situation as a perfect example. My children understand that I have a toxic environment when I'm around their mother. Mm-hmm. No matter how much I try to control the environment to where it's peaceful, it does not matter. Mm-hmm. That person always gonna turn up. Mm-hmm. She always gonna turn up. She always gonna have a problem about something. She always wanna yell about something. Always wanna argue about something. Always wanna make something difficult, no matter what it is.
Right.
It don't matter if the color of the cake, we forgot some ice cream, whatever. Oh, those aren't shoes that she envisioned him having. Whatever the problem is, why didn't we have it at this place instead of that place? Mm-hmm. Okay, but ultimately, whatever that resentment is, whatever that feeling is that's harbored in, and maybe it's 2 times as worse because now I'm with another woman. Now she has kids around our kids. Now we're creating a blended family, or whatever the case may be, right? Mm-hmm. So ultimately, at the end of the day, she's harboring some type of feelings. So no matter what, the idea of what we wanted to do with our children, raise them to be good, because we've had that conversation before. Mm-hmm. If we're not going to be together, let's co-parent and be great for our kids.
Right.
Let's still be able to connect and do this and that and the fourth.
Right.
History has shown between me and this person, it can't happen.
Right.
So why should I continuously allow it to affect my relationship with my children, the relationship with my children and the woman that I'm choosing to be with? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They're like, it's just all a bad situation. Right. So in order to avoid that situation, talk to the kids.
I don't feel I'm not saying that everybody has to do this. It's for people that can. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is we can make the world a better place. We can eliminate ourselves from the equation and start making it about the kids. That way, if you with another person, or if she's with another person, nobody's looking at who they with, because we here for the kids and we worried about the kids.
Ultimately, worrying about the kids is cool, mm-hmm. and I'm all for that because I have children and I love them on that extent. Mm-hmm. So I most definitely don't have a problem with making sure that they're happy. It has absolutely nothing to do with me feeling love for their mother, to respect her. End of the day, don't have to love her. She had that chance. She had that opportunity. She had that opportunity to get that love from me that she needed in her life, and she chose to take it and disregard it and throw it in the trash can and do whatever she wanted to do with it. Just calling a spade a spade. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that I have to share any inkling or any resemblance of love for her.
But
hey, I respect you. You're the mother of my kids. I gotta respect you to a specific extent. I don't have to love you at all. I don't have to love you.
You do realize just because somebody have love for somebody else doesn't mean that they want to be with them. That doesn't mean that they like that.
I understand.
They like them like that.
I understand.
Like for instance, like I said, in my situation, he's family. He's like family. He will always be family because we have kids together and we share the type of relationship to the point where I don't hate him. I have no reason to dislike him regardless of whatever might have happened in our relationship. We decided it wasn't going to work. We moved our separate ways. Now we have these kids, right? So if it came to a point where my kids are having something, they only graduate one time. You can't have two separate graduations. They only do certain things one time. You can't separate that. So if you can come together for the kids at that moment, say they're having a graduation dinner and they don't want to have a separate one, they want to have this big graduation dinner, or they only get married one time when they have that wedding, they only have one wedding. They're gonna say, oh, we're gonna have a wedding over here because me and him don't get along. I don't want to see him. I don't want him to come. So I'm only going, that's childish. That's ignorant. And that's what's wrong with the world. We too busy worried about us and who we want to be around and what's better for us to be around, and we're not thinking about the kids and how that's affecting them when we argue with them at that wedding or doing all this and thinking about what they did and how they did. Man, forget that. That's childish to me. I don't have time for that. Like I said, I know who I am. I'm very secure in who I am. I love who I am as a person. I'm growing. I'm involving, God first, right? And we putting God first.
You want to know something that I've learned in life? I learned in life this. You can only control the narrative of the environment that you control. So that means if there's other people within that environment, you lose percentage of control. That means you can't dictate what actually is going to happen in every moment of the day, right? So, take for instance, you invite this person in to this event. I don't care what it is. This person, regardless of how much you're at peace with yourself and the environment that you're in, at the end of the day, if this person comes in with a toxic attitude, you can't control that.
Right.
You have to respond or react or try to keep things positive and peaceful.
Right.
Now, this negative entity just keeps saying whatever or doing whatever or eyeballing whoever or trying to start something or pick it at somebody, right? Female or male, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it causes discomfort. And you know who it causes discomfort for the most? The child. We just had this conversation.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you tried to do something for the child and it ended up to be more negative for the child to see how this negativity came in.
Right.
So in order to avoid that negativity to begin with, here's the I guess the standpoint, right? What you would say is, hey, let's try to hold this together. This one event, let's see how it goes, right? The event goes bad. Once the event goes bad, you sit down and you have a conversation with your child, because you do that anytime something looks like it's disturbing your child. You want to sit down and have a conversation with them. You have to be a parent, you have to be a therapist sometimes, you got to be all types of stuff, right? You got to be a medic, you got to kiss boo-boos, you got to read bedtime stories, all of that great stuff. But ultimately, you have to sit down and ask your child, how did that make you feel that your mother or your father acted like this when they came to this place?
Right.
Because ultimately, you want to make sure that if your child didn't see anything wrong with it, oh, you're just crazy, you acting crazy, well, that's just how my daddy is, or that's just how my mommy is, whatever, right? Or if it's really bothering them to a point to where, like, you can see that, internally they're crying, or they just start to shell up, or they don't want to talk about it, or you can tell as a parent, you should be mindful and should be able to recognize when your child is feeling a certain type of way, right?
Right.
Would you allow that to happen again?
No. But how would you ever know if you've never tried it?
So
how would you know how successful it could be or not? And then you would think that if whoever you're doing this with, y'all have an agreement, y'all have an understanding. It's a understand. That's what I'm saying. If you have love for that person has love for you, then not on that level, but to a degree where y'all respect and understand each other, that like, hey, we're not together no more, this didn't work out, you do you, I'm doing me, but yeah, we're coming together for the kids, then you won't have those problems.
Okay. Comment down below if you think that you should try to bring a blended family with another blended family together into a situation, and see if, because you guys are co-parenting to a point, that you feel like you should share these special moments and events together, as long as there's no tension or no fussing or fighting or animosity towards the other parent, right? Or they're still harboring on some other feelings that I guess they just couldn't get off their chest, right? Also, comment down below if you feel like you should still have a sense of love or a feeling of love for a previous relationship, whether it be a marriage of 20 years, a relationship that you had children with the person, or whatever the case may be. Comment down below whether you feel like you should still have those feelings of love for that person, or whether you can respect that person and still be able to deal as a co-parent without that love being involved.
It's like people don't know what love means. And we're supposed to love everybody, you know what I'm saying? But people don't know what having love for somebody means. You can have somebody that's in your family that did you wrong, did A, B, and C to you. You might not deal with that person, might not love them, but that don't mean you don't have love for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, having love for somebody is not being in love with them, and it's not just saying that you love them to an extent, but having love for them is on a whole nother ramification, and it's like people don't understand what that can and can't mean. It's nothing wrong to have love for somebody that you had kids with or was in a relationship with, as long as you're not trying to be with them or get with them like that, if it's not that scenario.
Comment down below if you feel like you should still have love for someone.